Hello pretty people, it's been a while and this video has been a long time coming. So I went to Japan back in September and I meant to make this video as soon as I came back, but then I had to go back to uni and third year of uni to go with my life and yada yada yada. Here we are, it's almost Christmas. I did have a couple of people actually request that I do this on my website. So to you guys, I'm sorry it's taken this long, but here we are, all the things that I ate as a vegan avoiding soya in Tokyo for 2 weeks. That's a mouthful. I feel like first I should kind of explain the whole soya thing. So I have a soya intolerance, allergy, I'm not sure which it is. It's been described as both to me by different doctors. Anyway, so I can handle, like, I'm not seriously allergic, I can handle a little bit of soya, but I can't handle a lot. My main aim when I went to Japan was to avoid soya as much as possible, but I do like to treat myself. I do enjoy cake, and most vegan cake has soya in it, so generally try to avoid soya, but not super scared, like super allergic. I need to avoid it at all costs, just to make that clear to everyone. I did actually pretty well at avoiding soya in Japan as a whole. By the end of the 2 weeks, I'd sort of gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm going home soon, I'm just gonna eat what I want, but I did my best. I speak and can read a bit of Japanese, but my Japanese isn't a very high level, especially my reading, so I could have made some mistakes along the way that I didn't notice, but I think I did pretty well, as Japan is known for not being a very vegan friendly place, especially a vegan who can't have soya. Basically, I spent 2 weeks in Tokyo. I was staying quite far out of centre near Yokohama in a place called Alberti. We went into Tokyo pretty much every day and I would plan out my food before I went. If you are a vegan, no matter where you're travelling the world, or a vegetarian actually, disclaimer before anything else, you need to get the app Happy Cow. Happy Cow is amazing. I use it everywhere I go, everywhere I travel. It means that I can plan my food out for the day. I can check to see that where I'm going there is vegan restaurants. Basically, you put in your location or where you're going, or you can go it from where you are, and it tells you all of the vegan, vegetarian friendly places around you that have been registered to Happy Cow. So it's what I use most of the time in Tokyo, because there aren't that many vegan places for a very big city, but it meant that I was always able to find food. It has information on there if it's a non-vegan restaurant, what on their restaurant menu is vegan, whether they've got English menus, whether their staff speak English, like all of that amazing stuff. So super useful app for going pretty much anywhere in the world with. This isn't sponsored by Happy Cow, but it's a good app. Yes. Before I go on a rambler-thon, I just want to let you know that this will be in blog post form, which will be linked with the video, so that if you want to plan your trip to Japan and go to any of the places that I've mentioned, I will put addresses and more information about where they are and where I went, and prices and all the rest of it will be in my blog post. Check it out. Anyway, now that I've said all of that stuff and have probably spoken for far too long about stuff not related to this video, let's get into actually talking about food, shall we? First of all, I want to talk about convenience stores, because obviously being there for 2 weeks, I didn't eat out all of the time, but I didn't really cook for myself either. We were in this apartment, but I mainly just kind of ate snack food from the convenience store for all of them. Convenience stores are actually pretty good for vegans in Japan. You can't eat very much that's there, but there are sort of some staple foods. Number one thing that I ate pretty much every day, I probably ate 2 or 3 of these a day, is umeboshi onigiri, which is like pickled plum onigiri. So it's rice triangles with seaweed around it and little pickled plum inside. These are really good. I love them. I ate them all the time. I ate them for breakfast, I ate them before I went to bed. Yes. The second thing is amman. These are which is a combination of amai pan, which is sweet buns. So they're these kind of like sweet dumpling things with adzuki beans inside, so they're sweet. I read online that not all of the convenience stores do vegan ones because some of them use pork lard, but I bought the ones from 7-Eleven and they had a little allergy thing underneath them which said that they only had wheat in them as an allergen, so they were good. I went every morning to 7-Eleven to try and buy one, and they don't always have them hot, so I only actually bought these like 4 or 5 times in my 2 weeks, but I'd always go and look for them because they're really good. Thirdly is adzuki rice, which is the stuff that's in amon but it's in rice, so it's kind of these sweet beans in a little rice bowl, which made this marvellous photo happen. This wasn't like my top favourite thing because sweet and savoury together is a bit weird in my mind. But that's a good thing. There's also, for those of you who can't have soya, they do like little edamame rice balls, or you can just buy edamame. Veg sushi combos are pretty good, like you have 4 of each sort of sushi. They do like cucumber, pickles and other things. Veggie sushi is good. Tsukemono is also really good, so these are just pickled vegetables. You can get these in all sorts of places. There's lots of little things in convenience stores. For me, I only bought the things that had less than 3 or 4 ingredients because my Japanese reading is terrible and it's really difficult to try and read packaging when you can't read much of the language. It's always good to check, and I'd say if you're a vegan going to Japan, brush up on your Japanese because lots of places people aren't really aware of allergens and don't speak very much English, so the two together doesn't go very well. A lot of the places I went to, which I'll talk about, did have allergy menus, which was wonderful, but not all the places, and not supermarkets who don't have English on their packaging. I had a donkey supermarket next to us, which have a penguin as their mascot, and I really don't understand why they're called donkey when their mascot's a penguin, but there we go. So I went there and bought a lot of potato croquettes. They had like vegetables, they had, I'd just buy seaweed or I'd buy rice and some veggies and just mix it all together and eat. There's quite a bit of food in Japanese convenience stores, so that's that aside. And now we're gonna start you off on my journey through Japan with food. So on the first day, our friend that, not the day that we got there, but the first full day we had there, our friends took us to Akihabara, which is like nerd central. We wandered around all the anime shops, and then we ended up in a Koko Ichi because I saw it on Happy Cow and I love Japanese curry so much, so we went there. But this was my first mistake. Koko Ichi have vegan curries, but only in the branches which have a set vegetarian menu, because they do separate curry which are vegan. This place, and I didn't realise, I accidentally ate shrimp because I thought that all of the places, if you ordered the veggie curry, it would be the veggie curry, but it's only places that have the vegetarian menus. So this had some shrimp in it, and I will talk about later, did find Koko Ichis with the vegetarian menus, and the curry's really good. So don't go to the one in Akihabara. If you're looking for vegan places there are quite a lot of places to eat there. Don't go to the Koko Ichi there because it's not actually vegan. That night we went to Shinjuku and we ended up in some izakayas. Izakayas are kind of like pubs, I guess. You buy drinks, they do sort of snack food. It's not like pub food in the UK. So there I tended to just eat, like, they do vegetables and chips and drink a lot of alcohol. I also had Japanese friends with me when I was in izakayas, which was really handy because they could generally ask what on the menu I could eat, but usually it was limited to vegetables and chips, which is the same in most pubs in the UK. The first one we went to was Kinokura, which is a huge chain in Japan of izakayas, and a lot of them have like samyaku-en menus, so everything's 300 yen, which is like £2.50 about. And then later we went to another izakaya, and I just went to the convenience store and bought rice and just ate it on the way to the izakaya and then drank more. That was fun. On to our second day. I'd injured my foot, so I decided that I would just stay around the local area. As I said earlier, we were staying in this place called Aobadai, which is quite far out of Tokyo. There was nothing vegan in Aobadai really, apart from stuff from convenience stores. So I had a look on Happy Cow and Fujigaoka, which was like the next station over on the Dentoshi line. They had 2 places that I saw on the map. The first one is where I went for lunch, which was called 2 Banana Ria, and they did kind of, they had a mix of things actually, but I got their Indian curry, which was strange because I love Japanese curry and I like Indian curry. But the fusion of the two wasn't quite to my taste buds. It was nice. I loved the vegetables they used in it, and it was definitely kind of a fusion. And they had issues of vegan magazines in Japanese, which was really fun to attempt to read any of it. And they did cakes, and it was sort of mid-range. I think I paid about £8-9 for the curry. And the staff were really nice, and it was tiny little place. It was really cute. But I would recommend that if you're around the area and you like that sort of thing. And there's a really pretty park next to it, so you can go eat some food, wander around the park. Secondly, in that area in Fujigaoka, literally just next to the station, is Mother's Organic Market, and it's kind of like a little health food shop, which I'm sure had a lot of vegan food in it. It said on was vegan friendly, but I couldn't read enough of all the packaging to check much of the food. I bought some sweet potato tempura and also some fresh vegetables to mix into things. They had these little packs of ready-made foods, which I was definitely sure were vegan because they had ingredients on and they didn't have very many ingredients, so I was fine with reading that. And then they had a load of like bio soaps and all of this amazing stuff, and I'm sure there were lots of stuff in that was vegan. It wasn't all though, because they had a little fish stand and it was like a standard organic sort of shop. So if you're in the area, it's definitely worth checking out. The next day, me and a load of people that happened to be in Japan at the same time as us, we all went to Asakusa, which is sort of an area that has a really famous temple in it. Definitely worth a visit. We tried on yukata and wandered around the temple area, and it was super amazing. And along there, if you walk along the middle, it's quite nice because there's a lot of tourists there, so a lot of the people on the store speak English, so I bought a load of these rice crackers there, and the guy was able to confirm to me that there was nothing in them apart from rice basically. And they also have their freshly made like dango with soy sauce on, which I didn't get, and I'm sure there's lots of other stuff because they have sort of traditional Japanese foods there. A lot of it is quite basic, it's just made of rice or whatever, so there's some vegan stuff there. And then after we'd gone exploring, everyone was feeling in the mood for ramen, and I found a place that did meat options because most of the people I was with wanted to eat meat. And then they had a vegan ramen as well. This place was called Toyanse, I think. They have an English and a French menu as well as Japanese menu. They only had, well, 2 vegan ramens, a salt ramen and then one that had seitan in it, but I can't have the seitan one, so I had the salt ramen. It was basic. It was nice. There was a bit of bread, some vegetables and noodles. The broth was pretty nice. It was a good hearty ramen, pretty basic. Oh, and then later that day we went to another izakaya, which was directly above the Kinokura we were in the day two days before, so this was in Shinjuku again. This place was good. We had nomi hodai, which is all you can drink, so you pay for a set amount of time and they bring you drinks. We also got food, so we paid 2,500 yen for 2 hours of all you can eat, all you can drink. They bring out a set menu, which is like 20 quid, so not bad. The drinks are really weak though, just as you would expect. And my friend managed to talk to the guy who ran it, and he got everything apart from dessert. They couldn't get vegan desserts, but all of the food was vegan, which was really lovely of my friends. So we had a mountain of chips, some really nice mushrooms, other vegetables. It was, yeah, it wasn't anything overly exciting, but it was really good food. I ate way too much, and it was just really nice to just sit and drink and chat and all the stuff. So if you are in izakaya and there's places that do nomi hodai, I would recommend it, but you need to drink a lot to get your money's worth of alcohol because they're very weak drinks. Oh, and then that night, so we stayed in izakaya late, and we were planning on staying in a capsule hotel that night, but you have to book them early if you want to stay in them overnight. We didn't book them early enough, and then my friend managed to lose her purse, so we spent a good hour or two at like 1 in the morning trying to find her purse. We went to a convenience store, bought some food and some more alcohol because we were planning to go and drink more. That didn't happen. We were gonna go find a games cafe to spend the night in, but we only had like an hour until our last train by that time, so we just wandered back to the station and waited in the station till 4:30 in the morning to get the first train home. So the next day we weren't really feeling up to much, but it was our friend Anna's last day in Japan, so we wandered, we made our way to Ikebukuro. There's quite a lot of games arcades, and there was a host club that my friend wanted to go to, but she didn't get into because she had it booked. And they went to a Denny's. Denny's doesn't have anything vegan in Japan that I could see. And I saw something close, and I am so glad I went here, called Iron Sof So. Now this was French-Japanese fusion. They really like French food in Japan. From what I've seen, a lot of the places I ate were sort of French-inspired or French fusion foods. And this, oh my gosh, this was such good food. It wasn't cheap, it was sort of higher end food, like not ridiculously expensive, but if you're on a budget you may not want to go here, but if you are sort of affording one really nice meal out while you're in Japan, go here. So I think I paid like 25-30 quid for main, drink, dessert, which isn't horrific but it's not cheap either. And oh my gosh, it's all vegan. They have I can understand what she was saying and I was butchering Japanese back to her, so you know. And the food I ate here was amazing. I ordered pasta off the specials board that had like aubergines in it, and it was just, I just love pasta. It was really good food. Can't really say much other than that. And then the dessert, I said stuff it to the soy stuff and ordered a pancake with whipped cream and ice cream on it, which definitely had a lot of soya in it, but it was amazing. It was really good. They have 3 branches of Iron Sof in Tokyo. There's one in Ikebukuro, which is the one I went to, one in Shinjuku, and one in Ginza. So if you're in any of these areas and you want to splash out on a nice meal, definitely go here, because it is just really nice vegan food. It was good. It was real good. It was real good. But the next day we had a barbecue planned with some friends. So people that we went with there, they had some friends in Japan who had offered to sort of show us around, and they took us for a barbecue in the park. I cannot remember for the life of me where this park was. I think it was in West Tokyo somewhere. It was like 40 minutes from Shibuya Station. And basically you rent out a table or a couple of tables and a tent and some chairs in a park. They're all set up for you when you get there, and you just have a barbecue. Bring your own food, bring your own drinks. And so I just had loads of like grilled veggies and rice and potatoes, and it was really nice just getting day drunk in a park. I would definitely, if you have the opportunity to do something like that, give it a go. I'm not sure how easy it is to book those kind of things as a foreigner. If you're there in summer and you have Japanese friends, or you're just there with your friends, you can go to a supermarket, buy a bunch of food on a budget if you want, buy some drinks and just spend the day in the park. Like, there was a family next to us with their little tent up and their tiny baby, and it was really cute. That evening we went back into Shinjuku and went to some arcades, and I discovered in Shinjuku Station Alberti tea. I'm not really that much of a fan of tea, and I've never really tried milk tea for obvious reasons, but they do milk tea where you can get both almond or soya milk in your milk tea. So I had this like strawberry almond milk tea, which was really good. I don't know whether it was just because I was craving sweet things and I knew I wasn't allergic to it, but I really enjoyed that tea. And they had labelled vegan cake, this little like shortcake cake, really delicate sort of cakes and pastries everywhere in Tokyo, and so I'm really glad that I got to actually try some. This was vegan, this definitely had soya in, I checked. I read it, but it was a label vegan cake and I was like, stuff it. It was so good. It was so good. Alberti, if you're around the area, definitely check it out. The next day we went to Harajuku. I spent most of the day wandering on my own because I wanted to go thrift shopping and my friends wanted to find shrine. Food wise there were quite a few places, but I ended up just going somewhere that was close to where I was when I was there, if that makes sense, when I was hungry. So I ended up in this place called Longy House. Again, this was French style cuisine, French fusion-y. They had a salad, like they had a couple of set menus which were quite good value. I think I paid like 1,000 yen for soup and a pasta dish. And yeah, it was just quite a nice atmosphere in there. And it was all vegan food and all really nice. ありがとうございます。じゃあサラダビュッフェのセットですね。こちらのサラダコーナーの食べ放題のセットとなっております。こちら本日マスターランチは塩麹のペペロンチーノ。The place next door was also supposed to be a little vegan cafe that had puddings and stuff like that. So I wandered down, and you kind of have to wander around the back. I think they also sold eco clothing, but when I came to the back I realised first that I'd have to take my shoes off to go in because it was almost set out like someone's house, and I was wearing giant Doc Marten boots and was tired and I was just like, maybe not. And also the two ladies that seemed to work there looked like they were having sort of a lunch break and just sat having some food, so I was like, I'm not going to go and disturb them because I just wanted to have a wander around. I'm going to leave it. But if you're going there, Longy House, there's also a little vegan cafe next door. They had a load of clothing, and it seemed like a little cute place. That evening we met up with our friends from the day before from the barbecue again, and they took us to a shabu shabu place. Now shabu shabu, if you don't know, is kind of like a hot pot. So you get a boiling pot of water, or usually you have like half soy sauce, half water. You can get ones with milk in, and you get really thin slices of meat that you just dip in. That's supposed to be the shabu shabu, and eat. So it's kind of like all you can eat. You grab loads of stuff, you get meat given to you, you get like a set amount of time to eat all of this stuff, which isn't the most exciting thing for a vegan. I mean, I'm glad I went, and I think that shabu shabu would be an experience, but if you could find a place, and I will look for a place, be in my blog post, that does sort of vegetarian catered shabu shabu, that would be better. For me, because I couldn't eat meat, they did take half price off the bill, so I only paid half the price of the people who were having meat. It was quite an expensive place. I think it was like 30 quid, something like that, for 2 hours of all you can eat, so not a terrible price, but I got it for sort of half that. And the only vegan broth they had was the soy sauce broth, which they brought out, which my friends had ordered for me and they brought out, and then I was like, oh, okay. I'm not going to risk eating that, because if I put all of my stuff in soy sauce, I'm going to be very ill later. So then I just had to have water. He put some kombu in it, which is like sort of dried seaweed to flavour it, and then I put some chili oil and garlic in it to try and make it sort of more appetizing, but it wasn't the greatest. It was kind of just eating spicy boiled vegetables. Which, you know, I think if I'd had a better vegan broth and some more exciting things to put in it than just some veg and some noodles, I would have enjoyed it more. I'm glad I went, but I wouldn't recommend the particular place I went to. Not that I can remember what it was called, I just remember it was near Shinjuku Station. It's not really worth it for a vegan going to a meat-based shabu shabu place. The next day I was on a mission to go thrift shopping. The place I found looking on Google, looking on some recommended websites for thrift shopping, was Shimokatazawa, which is on the Kichijoji line. So me and my friend went there for the day. We spent the day wandering around thrift shops. I didn't really buy anything because although this place was better value for money than Harajuku, clothes in Japan are very expensive. So I spent the day wandering around thrift shops, and that was fun. And then for lunch we went to a cocoa curry place, but this time the one in Shimokatazawa does have a vegetarian menu, which means like loads of extra veggie stuff. So they do like spinach curry, they do aubergine, which is amazing, and I just got like a mixed veg curry with aubergine on the top, which became my staple curry. And it was so good. And they sold packets of their vegetarian curry sauce, so I bought some of that home, and I still haven't cooked with it, but I will. I love making Japanese curry. So that was really exciting. We were going to go to, there was a shrine close by that did temple food, but we kind of timed it wrong and it would take us ages to walk there, and we were both hungry, so we ended up getting cocoa curry, and by the time we got to the shrine it was closed and it was bucketing it down with rain, so we didn't end up eating any temple food again. Something for next time. I managed to find some vegetarian cocoa curry and did a lot of thrift shopping. And also, if you guys want a thrift shop guide from where I went and what places were good, I can do that. I wandered around countless thrift shops and made notes, so you know, I have that already if you want it. And then the next day, which was like one of the last couple of days there, I don't know what day I'm on anymore, we went to Yokohama, which is the next prefecture over from Tokyo, but it was actually closer to where we were in Alberti than central Tokyo was, so it was actually quicker getting there than it was to get to central Tokyo every day all the days before. Went there because my friend really wanted to go to the Ramen museum, and let me tell you, the Ramen museum is amazing. I think it was only like 300 yen entry, I believe. Could be wrong there. It wasn't very expensive entry, and when you got in, upstairs they had information in a gift shop about the history of ramen, how it came into Japan and all that sort of stuff. And then you went downstairs and it's basically set up like a living museum. Replica from 1958, and you eat your way around. There's places that do giant gyoza and all the rest of it. They have two vegan ramens though. Ryu Shanghai Honten and Komurasaki. I actually can't remember which of those two I got. I will write it somewhere when I realise. I was really sad because I wanted to try both of them. I got a small bowl of the first one, but the first one was so filling. I was waiting and I was like, I want to go back, I want to go back. I want to go to the second place, and try that ramen so I can compare, but I didn't get to. The one I had did have some like soy meat in it, which I just gave to my friend, so I didn't eat that, but it was, I believe, in a salt broth, but it was a really creamy salt broth. Go to the ramen museum, go and eat your way through it. It's just, yeah, it was just a really cool place because you learn the history of ramen whilst eating. Can't think of anything better. Oh, another thing I would recommend when you're in Yokohama, in the ramen museum, they have a veggie guide to Yokohama. I did get it, but then I lost it, so I can't show you it right now, but it basically lists all of the veggie places in Yokohama and says whether they're vegan friendly, and it has places that aren't on Happy Cow, which is where I ended up, so that was really useful. After that, we wandered into Chinatown because Yokohama has a really big Chinatown in it, which is super cool. It literally felt like stepping into another country. When we were there, they had like a Hong Kong street, they had Taiwanese places, they had some Chinese temples that we wandered around, and they had like an illusion museum thing, which we didn't end up going in, and just panda themed stuff everywhere. It's really cool. There's food everywhere. I didn't eat that much there because I was full from the ramen museum, and I'm not sure what was vegan because Chinese food also is generally not that vegan, but it was. I would definitely recommend, if you're in Tokyo, go to Yokohama. It's not very far away, especially if you're on the outskirts near where we were. And it feels very different. It's close to the sea as well. We didn't end up walking to the sea because we got there kind of late, and by the time we were almost at the sea, it was getting dark. I definitely, if I go back to Tokyo or near Tokyo, I'm gonna go to Yokohama again because I really enjoyed it. There's so many things that I didn't see, and it was kind of like, it was compact. It felt very different to Tokyo, and it's kind of basically attached to Tokyo. Later on, because I saw it on the way in and it looked interesting and I'd seen it on Happy Cat, and I saw it in the veggie guide, there's this place called Garlic Table. It's called Pachi Joe's on the sign, but sadly it was closed, I think for renovations or something. This is just on the way into Chinatown on the gate closest to the station. I didn't get to go. And I was really sad because it was like vegan friendly and everything was covered in garlic, and those two things put together sound amazing. But yeah, sadly it was closed, so I had a look on the veggie guide to Yokohama, and we ended up going to this Taiwanese place. I can't remember the name, and as you can see in my picture, it's in Taiwanese, so if any of you can read that and tell me what it's called, that would be wonderful. But it's near the, in Japanese it's Masobyo Temple or Mashu Miao, I probably butchered that, temple, which is really pretty. It's along the street next to this Taiwanese place. Not everything in there is veggie, and the guy in there, I think the only English word he knows is delicious, which makes sense, but I managed to sort of explain to him in Japanese that I was a vegan, and he was sort of grumpy but absolutely lovely at the same time. Like, he was pointing at menu items and sort of explaining to me in Japanese, like, that's fake meat, try that, that's fake meat, try that, this is really good, this is really amazing, you have to eat these. And he even said, like, don't eat the soy sauce because that has fish in it, which, like, yeah, it was a picture item thing because I was trying to order off the menu, and he was just like, no, look at the pictures, this is good. Ordered the veggie dumplings, which were really good, and then I ordered this kind of like peanut noodle dish, and I was a bit disappointed. Like, it wasn't bad, it was just really plain, and he pointed to another thing on the menu which also looked really good, and I was like weighing the two up, and I went for the noodles, and I wish I'd gone for the other thing. I can't remember what it was now, but it was, yeah, it was good. It was worth it for him, and there was so much menu items there that were vegan, that were meat free, and he knew what vegan was. Like, he understood that I couldn't have the soy sauce and couldn't have the fish, so that's a really good place to go. But go in I mean, I think he could probably communicate with you with English because there's a picture menu, and if you say like vegan is vegan in like Japanese, he would understand. But it would have to have some Japanese because, or if you speak Taiwanese or Mandarin. And that was pretty much it. We just took the train home after going to that restaurant, but he was such a joy. And that was basically it for my food in Tokyo. The next day we kind of just went shopping in Awadai and grabbed some cocoa curry and convenience food, and I bought a bag, and I found the thrift shop nearest me was really cheap because it had a 300 yen section, which was wonderful. And that was pretty much it for our time in Japan. On the way back, my gosh, the airports are not vegan friendly. Trying to find any food, it's the same in a lot of UK airports, was ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my vegan food adventure in Japan. As I said, As I did ramble a lot in this video, if you want more information about the specific restaurants that I went to other than just pictures of food, that will all be in my blog post, which will be linked around. So definitely check that out if you are looking at planning your trip to Japan, want to go have vegan menus. As I said, download Happy Cow, do it wherever you're going. If you're a vegan and you like to travel, it's the main thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed my ramble about food in Japan. I'm also thinking of making like a blog post and video about useful phrases. My Japanese isn't very good, but there were some words, phrases, characters and all the rest of it that are very useful if you're going to Japan as a vegan that I used a lot. So if you want something like that, let me know. I could probably get some of my Japanese friends involved, or maybe even my old Japanese teacher to help out with that as well, if you wanted that kind of stuff. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you know any really good vegan places in Tokyo. And yeah, that is it. Sorry for the ramble. See you guys soon.